and welcome back to the England Touch Nationals, and we have got our first final of finals day, and it's the women's 27s. It's the Southwest Sharks in blue and the Midlands Tigers in white, and I am so happy to say I'm joined by Chris Simon. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Joe. Yeah, really good. Looking forward to this one.
It's been built to be a really good final. We saw the Midlands team earlier on, successful in their semi-final. Really good value for it. Carried away within the second half, and we are underway. And good hands initially from the Midlands to keep hold of that play. They roll into their line attack. Ball goes to the link. Good option. Check it back on the inside. First penalty of the final. Foot in the ruck, and you know the Midland sides very well. Are there any that you're looking for to put their name up, put their hand in the air, say, this is the final, I'm going to grab it by the scruff of the neck?
Yeah, well, I think just there, diving for a line, Lucy Snake, know very well. Nottingham, played for Nottingham for many years. Should be featuring for England in the World Cup alongside her, Cat Jones, other mid-partner there. Cambridge, now moved to Wales, but still representing Cambridge.
And they look for the middle play here. Back onto the open side, and that ball looks down, and the referees are happy. And we have our opening score of the women's 27s final. And it is that partnership getting over middle play. It's Jones kicking on the outside. Ball is down before the touch comes. And you couldn't have asked for a better start for the Midlands.
Yeah, great start, and I think we'll see those two connecting very well. They've been doing so all weekend. Yeah, as I said, both very, very talented players. We'll be thinking, I think last year one, if not both of them, were playing open, so they're only just at the open setup.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of the 27s division is, you get to sort of move some players up and then also integrate some new players into the open side. It also means that you're in for some really high quality touch in the 27s division. The Saxons look for the link punish. Touch comes in. This is fifth and final, so no touches available. And turnover ball, Midlands now. First opportunity to have a look at the transition in the final. They've identified throughout the tournament this is one of the key areas of touch, so getting the fresh legs on as efficient as possible. Really good yards made up the box side.
Yeah, good yards there. Vicky Franks combining well with Abby Walters.
Good yards again, and now they move the ball into the midfield round the single shooters, and the scoop comes. It looked to go open, deep switch, just not quite connecting.
Yeah, scoop there from Sue Ellen. Seg, they call her SEG. Seg.
Seg. We love it, SEG.
That's what she's known to for most of these players and most of the region. Again, another Cambridge player, Seg. I think what you've got here is Midlands, not exclusively, but a strong Cambridge and Nottingham backlight or bias, really. And for Saxons, a very strong Bristol Jets next to Eagle House. Yeah,
and we've seen that a lot from the Saxons, especially sort of relying on Bristol and Exeter for a lot of their players. But the Saxons now looking to scoop through and made some really good separation, but the ball just goes to ground, and both teams feeling each other out in the opening 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're looking at Rosie Kelso scooping through for Saxons. I was only saying Jets, but for Saxons. And yeah, I think what you've got on both teams is some really strong players who will be featuring for England 27s in the World Cup.
Definitely. And would you say with the Nationals, right, just sort of like egging towards the World Cup, a lot of these guys will be using the Nationals as an opportunity to run through that structure ahead of the World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with with the 4 teams in this category, that's worked out quite well. It's the fact that we've had a strong 27 squad of high 20s, 30s players. They'll all be here. They're all still vying for their place as final England squad is next weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And something that we've seen with this 27s is there's not really a lot to separate the teams within the division. So it's one of those divisions that is super competitive, and I think any of the 4 teams entered into it could have made this final. But so far it's the Midlands on top against the Saxons, and Saxons rolling into their scoop play now. And that'll be 6 more. Number 9 for the Saxons, Charlotte Moore, trying to go through on the scoop. Combining with number 10, Megan Burton.
Yeah, Megan and Charlotte both combine well at Exeter. And I think you'll find, as with the Tigers, is you've got an extra pod on here, and I suspect you've got a Bristol pod on. They're used to playing club touch together, which really helps. Yeah, and you can see those interpersonal connections really flourishing as Moore and Burton work together in the middles now.
Burton. Off to Marr. Sweeper coming round. Step back. Ball goes. Brilliant defensive touch.
Yeah, I think called forward pass from the sideline far side. I see Matt Emerson there looking with its forward.
Well, offside called initially. So the Saxon side will get a repeat set. There's Marr. Burton back to Marr. Marr looks long. Keeps hold of that ball. And that's something we've seen a lot from the 27s, is the emphasis on protecting the ball and not surrendering possession needlessly. And it's something that we've seen through every single team, is the willingness to use all the touches available to them and not throw the risky pass.
Absolutely, and I think that's come down from the England setup where we want to keep control, we need to keep territory and possession, and that's very evident in these two teams.
Yeah, for sure. And some people might be asking, well, why don't you just throw that ball long initially? Well, actually, that option, if it's there on touch 1, it'll still be there on touch 6. And you want to condition that defence to stay tight, to make that grounding as easy for the winger when it does go. And is Marr and Burton again looking. Burton picks up, looks for the winger. Winger does catch it, but touch is made on that 6-touch turnover. And a good attacking set from the Saxons, matched by a solid defensive nudge from the Midlands.
Yeah, very good set. I think they'll be pleased with that, Midlands. Saxons had a couple of chances at the line there. And again, it's up in third touch, just a good drive, looking to get to halfway, close to 4, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit static now, but here comes the pace around the outside, and she might go all the way. Just caught at the last moment. Laura Morecambe trying to go round the outside, and now the Midlands feed the ball back into the middle. They look to run through their strike play. 32 platform. They look for the winger. No touch called. This goes all the way through. Fist pump in the air. And in this final, the Midlands pull 2 ahead.
That looks like Emily Eve from here to me. I can't quite see, but it looks, yes, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, sometimes want to brief the teams in a final. When you score, turn around to the camera so we can see who you are almost immediately. Give us a little pirouette. But Midlands Tigers, good value for the 2-try lead, and Southwest Saxons, you really just want to get a score on the board. They've strung together some really nice attacking plays, but maybe a little bit too static at times, and we'd like to see a little bit more impetus in their attacking play.
Yeah, I think this pod on there, quite a danger pod. I think Rosie Kells might be looking for the ball back here on a quick release. I thought that might come.
Early wrapper, long ball is on, it goes, and that looks like...
That looks like a good score to me.
Yeah, ball is down, and really good play for the Southwest Saxons. They look to run the early release rooster. The wrapper does receive the ball again, number 14. Rosie Kells with a long ball out to the winger, number 5, Rose Willoughby.
And that's a pretty strong Bristol Jets connection in the middles there.
Yeah, a lot of Bristol Jets in this Southwest Saxon side, and you can see the connections. They almost threw the pass on instinct, knowing that the winger was going to be there. Now the Midlands Tigers. 2 32s back to back. Tigers look to go long. Winger dives through the gap, but it looks like the touch has been made, and it is indeed. And Chris Simon's just got to go for his CO responsibilities. He'll be back with us in just a moment. Now Tigers, let's go around the outside. Good pace shown, good hands, and just crowded out in the end. There's Lucy Snape trying to get over. Working with Laura Morecambe. And now the Saxons roll into their transition. Good hands down the box side. And it's Marr carrying the ball. Half a little bit isolated. But good pace injected. Oh, she goes round the outside and then straightens up through the middle. There's number 4, Zoe Fielding Stewart, on the ball again. Good pickup. This is 5th. Good step. It's 14. Rosie Kells trying to go through. But the Midlands Tigers defence stay tight. Midlands Tigers driving up the box side. Upton on the ball. This is fifth coming, so a little bit static. Upton taking the ball in. Scooping comes. And it's just crowded out in the end. And at the moment, both teams targeting the transition, looking to scoop on fifth, but both defences wise to it, and a little bit of a loss of communication in the midfield from the Saxons. Surrenders good field possession to the Midlands Tigers.
Yeah, they'll be frustrated there. The Saxons will be, I think, giving it away on their first. As you said, yeah, again, bodies getting tired. They want to play the game on the other end and force the opposition into mistakes. That's exactly what Tigers are doing now against Saxons. Yeah,
it's a really good defensive pressure, and here comes the 32s again. We've seen the structure from the Tigers. Probably look to run another 32 on the far side. They do. Short comes, heavy runner, pops into the space. Touch is made.
Good read from the link there, in very close. It's cut off that wrap.
Yeah, had to get out into the passing lane and cut out the wrap, and it's number 20, Anna Suzuki, trying to go over. She's had plenty of airtime. Lovely long ball out to the wing, but crowded out from the Saxons, and Saxons coughing up the possession, but able to defend out the attacking set.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they'll be looking for a good set, get to their box, and a long way to go from this side, but get to their box in 3, and ideally get up to halfway and beyond in 4.
Yeah, definitely, and that's sort of the minimum that you want from your transition. So there's 1 taken up the middle. Hands are there. They do use them. That's 2. Good defensive read from the Midlands length, firing out the line. Another good ball. Good dub, living right on the edge of that off the mark.
That's good, and whilst they're there in 4 and slow down a little bit there, the momentum, but at least
here we go. There's Mar on the ball out to the winger. Winger reels it in, and no one will stop her. And we were saying you want to get up to halfway in 4. Well, how about the scoreline in 4? And Mar with a heads-up play to pop the ball into space.
Beth Newton in the corner, and another one of the England setup. That was a superb score, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's your textbook transition. And it looked like, we did say it, I completely agreed with you. It looked like the sting had been taken out, but Mar decided, no. We want to go around the outside and pop the ball. They did exactly that.
I think it was, looking back on it, won't look back on the replay, but it was that ball back inside that got behind the Tigers on that. Yeah. I think it was the 4th touch.
Yeah, and the Tigers maybe a little bit guilty of sending a single shooter rather than the pair, and that's the fine line you walk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I've seen in the England 27s and this level in terms of the regional setup, the 27s handle the ball so well. Their ability to finish 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, and I think even probably a 4-on-3 at times is second to none. They're really good. Yeah,
we've been commenting all weekend in the commentary box on just the level of your rugby core skills, to be able to catch and pass at pace. It really does level you up as a player, and this Midland side has shown that, but also shown how potent that can be from a defensive standpoint, trying to defend a catch and pass when you've got people running at 100 miles an hour. It's so difficult to defend against.
Absolutely, and I won't get drawn too much on the skills that every rugby player should play touch, but they should. I think the opportunity for have handling across the game, if they all played touch, they would all be better players.
100%, and just touching on that recently, you got some of the rugby league players in Australia really commenting on how valuable their touch game is, especially through the summer, through the contact off season, be able to keep things fresh, keep them sharp. And we're seeing core skills executed really well. And what a good defensive nudge here from the Midlands Tigers. Fortunately, an offside penalty, and undoes that good pressure that they just put on.
Yeah, I think that was Meg Clayton and Emma Conroy out there putting really good pressure. They, again, involved in the mixed 30 setup for England, so used to playing with one another. And and I think they're unlucky. They'll be frustrated to give a penalty away.
Yeah, for sure. And they, for 4 touches, they were spot on. And that's that last touch. Unfortunately, hadn't quite hit the onside line. And here come the Saxons, looking to go down the short side again. Hands go to the winger. Just goes down. It's number 25 for the Saxons. Vicky Davison. Really hard ball to reel in. And now the Tigers transition. Suzuki was driving up the box side. Good touch in the midfield.
That was a good touch coming from the wing, but had that just a bit of an earlier call from the fly out the back door, and it was on.
Yeah.
Easy to see from up here.
Yeah, it is. It's always easier from up here. It really is. Another good touch there. Might be an advantage coming, but the ball goes 2-on-1 on the wing. Suzuki is back inside. Play still on. 6-touch turnover. I think Saxons might have got away with one there. touching player just hanging round in the ruck for a little bit. And the referees decided that that did not affect the play all that much, but beautiful pressure from the Midlands Tigers flying up out the line, and they do get the off the mark call. And Saxons at the moment really struggling to live with the defensive pressure from the Midlands Tigers, and they get walked back another 10. And with 5 minutes to go in this second half, this is by far and away the best field position for this Midlands Tigers side. The pop round. It's Snape on the ball now. Looks step back on the inside, she does. The touch is made. Snape. Quickie set. Snape again, diving at the line. Oh, lovely pop back on the inside. And it is Snape, the Emily Eve. And Eve, the beneficiary of Snape's hard work, conditioning the middle. Good heads-up recognition. Ball goes down, and Midlands Tigers do end up pulling away. 4 minutes to go in this first half of the Women's 27s Nationals final. And it's the Midlands Tigers who are pulling ahead. Saxons, though, looking to come back. Saxons now just spreading the play a little bit, backing up a touch. That's fifth. They look to scoop. The ball just goes to ground and lost a little bit of momentum in their strike. Oh, Saxon's player's gone down, holding her knee, and the referees will just stop the play, make sure that everything's okay. As Chris was very rightly saying earlier, this Women's 27s division is very close-knit. A lot of these people having played together. It's all about supporting each other in a hyper-competitive nature. And the injury just brings a break in play. And everyone will just relax as she gets the attention that she needs. Looks like she'll be getting to her feet in just a moment, trying to get off the pitch. To allow for the game to continue. Looks like she's just gonna manipulate herself off the pitch so the game can continue. It looks like that's a bit of a sore one. They hope that she is okay. That the day 3 of a very long and intense tournament. Injuries do happen. The play will get back underway in just a moment with the Midlands Tigers. So Tigers again rolling into their transition now. Going from defence into attack. Good pace injected. They look to go hard at the line. Oh, lovely pace, and ball floated over the top. Oh, tap back on the inside, but ball not down. 6 more. Tigers, 32 short. They go for the short side. Stepping around. Ball goes down, offside call. They don't get the score, they get the penalty. Ball's away. Need to move it. This is 5th, so no penalty. Ball looks to go long, it does, but just goes to ground. Saxon winger was debating going for the interception. Doesn't, smart decision. And with a minute to go in this first half of the Women's 27s final, it is the Midlands Tigers that would be going in with the lead, if not for the Saxons' opportunities coming into the last minute. They'll probably have one attacking set to have a go at the line. We've seen the Saxons create something from nothing. They might have to do it again. Good yards made up the middle. That's 5th. Good scoop. It's Mars trying to scoop through, but it's half court and turnover. 30 seconds remaining. The ball is transferred to the box side. They look to get some fresh legs on. Good extra passes. Good touch. This is forthcoming. Good check off. It's Snape. And Eve again. Eve receives it from Snape. Will go for the line. Will get the score. And Midlands Tigers. And it's that pairing again. Eve and Snape working together in the middle. Although sideline ref wants to have a chat. So the score will not be given. And that will not be the end of the half. You cannot finish on a penalty. So the sideline ref identified a forward pass. So even Snape have one chalked off. It will remain 3 tries to 2. And the Saxons will have one opportunity with no touches remaining to go coast to coast and even it up. Hands go. Ball goes to ground, and that will be half time, and we will end the half with the Midlands Tigers leading 3 tries to 2 in the women's 27s final. And we are going to take a very quick break, and we'll be right back with the second half.
Well, as it's half time in the first final of the day, the countdown is on. We've got only a few games left of the final day here this Nationals weekend in Nottingham. Dan Powell, please can you make your way to control? That's a request for Dan Powell to make their way to control, please. Dan Powell, up to control, thank you. So the countdown is on. We're approaching the 2-minute warning. Midland's winning 3-2 in the final. I believe on pitch 1. So that's a very close game. Well contested at the moment. Keep it up. Just a quick announcement, if you own a Vauxhall Corsa Grey, registration Delta November 14, Hotel Zulu Mike, that's Vauxhall Corsa, Delta November 14, Hotel Zulu Mike, parts of the back, you left the window open, so if you own a Vauxhall Corsa DN14 H&M Grey, please make your way to your car. Just a shout for Dan Powell. Players and officials, it's your 1-minute warning. Players and officials, 1-minute warning. Players and officials, this is your 30-second warning. Please take to the field, ready to play.
And welcome back to this final of the Women's 27s division. The first final of finals day at the England Touch national competition. And it is the Midlands Tigers that lead 3-2, with Saxons on the ball in blue. And Saxons will be desperate to get a score on early doors and bring you back to level pegging. Saxons using the 32 setup. Link punish actually, diving on the link. Looks to go, that's 5th touch, so they'll have no touches afforded to them. Live look to kill it in the corner. They'll look to spread it wide. Mar on the ball. Good hands, ball goes wide. Good option. Winger one-on-one. And they end up recycling the play, but losing a lot of ground to do so. So Midlands Tigers will have a good opportunity to launch. It's Snape and Eve in the middle again. Snape to Eve. To the winger. Back to Eve. Oh, lovely play. No touch made. And Eve goes all the way through, and Midlands Tigers go coast to coast in a couple of touches. And it's Snape and Eve at the heart of Midlands Tigers once again, creating space. Great hands from the winger to put back on the inside. And Eve goes all the way through. And Midlands Tigers starting fast and double the difference between the two teams. And Southwest Saxons desperate for a score early in this second half now. Saxons just resetting the play. Gratian taking the dump. Building Stewart, ball just goes to ground. The Tigers will have an opportunity now. Get their fresh legs on. Ball goes wide. The dump, Suzuki. Taking the ball up the middle. Good defence from the Saxons up the box side, but now the Tigers look to go expansive and they find an outside edge, and it's a 3-on-1 if the ball can stick. It does not. And Saxons will have an opportunity now. They've got fresh legs on, so won't need to transition. We'll just drive and try and get to the opposition's try line in an efficient way possible. Mar on the ball, pops back on the inside. Mar looks long, ball goes to ground. And the Saxons aren't able to make that opportunity stick. Tigers now. Aggressive transition, good touch in the middle there. There's Newton making that dominant touch. She's there making another touch. Mar getting up. Good scoop. Snape looking to go around the outside, and he's crowded out well by Megan Burton. And the Saxons firming up their defence. Transition coming, good dump. Third coming. This is fourth coming now. Good option. This is fifth coming now. Scoop. Goes through. Snape squared up. Gets on the outside. Can she find a spare player? Winger gets the ball down, but touch is made. And a great effort at the ground on the far wing. Well, the Midlands Tigers defence equal to it. Snape and Eve in the middle. We know what these guys are capable of. Ball looks to go wide. Isn't successful. Snape trucking up the middle. Eve similarly driving at the winger. Gets called offside. Saves the touch. Recycles the play. Good option. Upton taking the ball in. McHugh. Ball out wide. McHugh. Out again, that's 5th. Bit of pace needs to be injected. Looks to go through the gap, ball goes to the wing. Wing pops the ball back on the inside. Good recycling of the play. Can they work it round? Ball goes. One more is needed. It does go. Race in the corner. Back on the inside. Good heads-up rugby. This is Jouet touch. Ball is away again. 3-on-1. Can they execute? Yes, they can. And that is one of the best scores that you will see on finals day. Go from one side to the other, back across. No touches available to them. Just heads-up rugby. And I think it's number 38. Alice Bennett gets over for the Midlands Tigers. And you talk about Jouet touch, and there's your example. And the Saxons were sort of left chasing shadows. An amazing score from the Tigers, and Saxons now really need the reply. Checking back off into the midfield, 32 platform coming. Here's the shot, early release is on. Doesn't give it, Mar wants the line. Doesn't happen. 5th touch. Mar takes the touch and surrenders possession. And this is exactly what we saw the Midlands Tigers do in the first game today. And they start really strong and then they build and build, and in the second half they end up running away with games, and the Saxons are in danger of being on the other end of that. Eve feeds the ball out, 2-on-1 on the wing. They look for it. Good covering touch. And that's Gemma Upton. Snape. Driving. That's 5th touch. That's 6th touch and turnover. So a better defensive set from the Saxons, but they need to be able to go the other end and get a score. 13 minutes remaining. Good hands from the Saxons to the outside edge, but Eve is there to make the touch. Now that ball just goes to ground, and then maybe a little bit of fatigue creeping in. From the Saxons' perspective, and the Midlands Tigers will take their time. Transition coming. It's 1st touch. 2nd. 3rd. A few extra touches taken at the box side. This is 4th, so 5th coming now. One opportunity. Ball goes wide. They look to use the space. They check back off on the inside. Good dump. Scooper coming. Goes short side once again. But touch is made. And it's number 14, Rosie Kells for the Saxons. Making a really good touch. And thoroughly impressive for the Saxons is Kells. Drives up the box side. Good speed injected, but a really good read from the Tigers. They use the ball, change the point of focus. Mar on the field again, looks to scoop. Not quite yet, and they get the hard touch call. So Mar and Burton will have an opportunity to use 6 at the line. You take 1 or 2 touches, you get to the 7. There's the 1 touch, good meters, and Burton. With Mar in the half, Mar. Burton, diving at the line, touch is made. Burton takes the ball back. Mar at half. Burton. Mar. Burton. Open side quickie. Oh, lovely dive and score. And that is good. And it's number 8 for the Saxons. Beth Newton combining with Mar and Burton. And the sweeper play comes round. And a good, long and strong dive from Newton. And the Saxons needed that one to keep them in it with 10 minutes to go. 2 tries the deficit. Saxons need some more of that. Have a look at getting Mar and Burton and Newton on the field when they're in an attacking sense. But they've got to do the first job first, which is defending this Tigers attack. Sweeper play. Step back, good option, overlap, touch is made. Rosie Kells with the touch. pick up from the Tigers. Inside ball is on, intercept is made, so this is touch 0. Now this is 1 coming, and Saxons, good defensive set. Seems to be riding a bit of momentum at the moment. Can they secure the fresh legs on the field? Kells at half, feeds off. Kells again, really standing up to be accounted for in this final. Good depth, it's Burton with Marr at half. Marr scooping, looking for the winger. Ball goes. I think it's going to be given touch and pass, and it is indeed, but a much better transition from the Saxons, but they've got to reset and quickly. Tigers not wasting any time. Good touch. Better transition from the Tigers. Driving hard. Good wrap around. That's Snape to Eve again. Eve goes long. Back into the middle. Eve to Snape. Snape looks to scoop. That's fifth. Bit static. We'll have to create something, but we've seen them do it before. Great hands from the winger, but crowded out. And a little bit static on fifth touch from the Tigers in that instance. But they kill the ball in the far side, so Saxons will have to go coast to coast and sideline to sideline. But there's some good pace shown up the middle. Great initial drive. But unfortunately, the referee spotted an infringement, and the Tigers will have a good opportunity. They tap and go, and they can play on, and it's Snape who's played on, and she goes all the way through, and there's the score. And that's why you don't sub in defence, because you have someone like Snape to go over. Lucy Snape recognises the separation, gets the offside call to play on, and that's the experience you get. And just when Saxons looked like they were riding their momentum and getting back into this final, Tigers pull away again. 8 minutes to go in this 27s final. Saxons 32 short. Look for the wrapper. Step back on the inside. Pop ball. That looks good to me, and it is indeed. And it's Rosie Kells again. Said she was standing up to be accounted for. She is indeed. Big left foot whack. See you later. Draws the pass. Ball goes down. And it's number 4, Zoe Fielding-Stewart for the Saxons. And this game is really starting to kick into life, coming into the last 7 minutes or so.
Saxon scorer. 4. Thank you.
Tigers now with a tap off. Saxons will look to put pressure, and they do exactly that, and they get the penalty early doors off the mark. And Saxons have a really good field position to launch, and I tell you what, if they can get another score quickly, they'll be in this. And they're running this really tight. Tigers are not having it all their way. There's Burton with Newton. Newton at half. Burton with Marr at half. This is fifth. 32 short. Early release. 3 on 2. Can they execute? Great defensive shot from the Midlands Tiger winger. She has been doing that all game, and it's crucial. Wing being one of the hardest positions on the pitch to defend at. If you make the wrong decision, it almost always results in a score, but the right decision made in that occasion. Little bit of a loss of control, and Saxons once again will have good field position if they can turn over quickly, as they have, but there's no half there. Calls from the sideline just to take one in. Saxons. Good decision not to give the pass, would have been forward. There's Kells working. Kells. Link hole. Oh, she goes round. Was the touch made? Touch is being claimed. It's a brilliant link hole, matched only by an excellent defensive read. They'll have to look to go quickly. 2 on 2. Oh, good footwork, creating some separation. Fortunately, Field and Stewart can't quite get round, and coming into the last 5 minutes, Southwest Saxons need a score, and they need it soon. Need to force the turnover. Snape powering through the touch. Rosie Kells, dominant shot in the midfield. Ball goes expansive. They need a fast turnover now. Saxons riding the momentum. 2 scores down. Kells. Touch taken and back to Kells. Really impressive in this final has been Kells in the 14 shirt for the Saxons. And here comes the fresh legs. Touch is taken. They reset the onside line. They go forward. Burton. Newton. Burton. Looks to go wide. Does go wide. 2 players running into the same hole. Pass goes slightly forward. Tigers will get the penalty, and every possession takes another minute away. We're at 36 now. 4 minutes to go. Tigers struggling to get out of their half. Better transition. Just need to secure possession. Use all the sets of 6. Scooping coming from the Tigers. Looks to go through the gap, but a good diving touch. It's number 7 from the Saxons. Elizabeth Gratian diving to make the defensive touch. Oh, good hands around the outside from the Saxons. They'll have an opportunity. I'm joined for the last 3 minutes and 20. And Chris Simon off doing his CO duties. And you've missed some amazing scores. The Saxons are pushing the Tigers all the way. And Tigers look to be succumbing to a bit of pressure at the moment. Saxons look long, 3 on 2. Touch is made.
Good read there for Mima. I think that's a so two in it, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 in it. So I mean, Midlands will be looking to close this out with not long to go. But if Saxons can put them under pressure and turn over in this, in this end of the half, I think that will give them a bit of an uplift.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Saxons have been doing. They've been targeting the transition, forcing mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes from this Midland side. It has to be said, especially these 2 in the middle, Snape and Eve. Snape looks to drive, ball goes to ground, and Saxons have been doing exactly that, forcing turnovers, but unfortunately they've not quite been able to make that pressure count when they get to the line. A really stubborn defence from the Midlands 27s. And that's the fatigue creeping in, coming towards the end of this final. And Midlands will look to just use all the sets of 6 and not allow any easy turnovers.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what the messages coming from the box are here from Midlands as to whether is it just they want to just run this out, make sure they don't actually lose control and lose the ball in the next minute.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, when you're into this area of the game, you're 2 tries up in a final, you just want to use all your sets of 6. Use your possessions, good sweeper play. This is 5th, Snape on the ball. Snape goes wide, 2 on 1 on the wing if they can use it. Overrun slightly. 90 seconds to go. Saxons will have to go quick.
They've got to go off this one, really. Well, anyone scored like that first half where they drove hard to the box in 3 and then brought it all the way back the other side.
Yeah, completely agree. Unfortunately, we've not seen enough of that really from the Saxons in the second half. A couple coast-to-coast scores, but a little bit too few and far between.
Looking a little bit weary there, and that's half court and the turnover, and I think that's going to be it, isn't it?
Yeah, that should secure it. Just over a minute to go. Tigers will just secure this set of 6, not lose the ball. Nice little passing between Eve and Snape. They've both been thoroughly impressive in the middle.
Yeah, these 2, I think they're just going to see this game out. Maybe Snape will have a little go there. Rosie Kells just blocks her out.
Yeah, Rosie Kells another one that can hold her head high. Been really impressive, especially in defence. And Snape on the ball, looking for the quickie set. A good pressure. But
yeah, Snape's won that penalty there, hasn't she? She's just taking the pressure out of the game and just waiting for Saxons to come up and make the touch.
Yeah, it's good game management from the experienced Lucy Snape. Roll ball coming. Little bit of game management, just slowing the game down. 15 seconds. Ball goes long, 2-on-1 on the wing. Hannah Suzuki just securing the possession. And with a hooter coming any moment now, this will secure the victory for Midlands Tigers in the women's 27s. There's the hooter. Can they finish on a positive? They look to. Touch is made. But that's all she wrote. And Midlands Tigers, the victors in our first final of finals day.
Yeah, fantastic. I was keeping one eye on it whilst I was doing other duties, but it was a very good finish, and I think Tigers probably deserved it. But well done to Saxons. I mean, they've done a really good job, and that was a really hard-fought final.
Yeah, they stayed in the fight all the way, and super impressive from the Saxons. But it is the Midlands Tigers that come away with the victory. And we are going to take a very quick breath. I mean, I need to take a break and get some water on. It's been breathless all day, and we'll be right back with 3 top-tier finals.